recap and talk again about multiple offers. We are all working with buyers, and as realtors, we're frustrated, as buyers, we're frustrated, and unfortunately, buyers are frustrated right now during the most important transaction of their life. So it's our job to continue to encourage them, but also to develop the skills that will actually help them become the homeowner that they wish to be. Now, let's share a couple of tips or repeat a couple of tips in winning multiple offers. Remember, when you're in a multiple offer situation, we have to let our buyer know we have one chance to give our best offer. And what we have to do is just go all in. If that house is going to work, the best that your client is able to do is what we need to do to give them an opportunity to win the house. But what are some other things that we can do? One, we can actually increase our earnest money deposit. Particularly with lower price homes or first-time home buyers, we've been in the habit of maybe $1,000 earnest money, that type of thing. But in this market, if your buyer is planning to put down $10,000 when we get to closing, for them to put up some portion of that for earnest money early on is the same dollar amount. Of course, we'll let them know that is at risk if they breach the contract, but that'll also make the buyers committed to the deal if necessary. $2,500, $5,000, whatever money we can hold for your buyer up front to put in that contract to show the seller that we're serious would be helpful. The other thing we've talked about is waiving inspections. You know, your buyer may, if they're willing to take on the responsibility of home ownership, even with inspections, we do understand once they get in the house and they own the home, when they have to make repairs, they're responsible to do it. So them accepting that responsibility early on and waiving those inspections can ensure that they have a better chance of getting in the house. The other thing is offering to bridge the appraisal gap. Bids have been going up so high and appraisals have not been catching up with them. If your buyer has the cash and wants the house and is willing to pay the cash difference over the appraisal, you can include that as well. Other items are giving the seller time to move, particularly if they need time to find another house and move. If your buyer can give them that flexibility, that will give your buyer a winning shot. Chandler recently mentioned to me a tactic of paying the seller's closing costs. Buyers used to ask for the seller to pay their closing costs, and it's harder to have that happen in this market. But what if you offered to pay a portion of the seller's closing costs? That can indicate how serious you are and that you'll be easier to work with. And lastly, both you and your buyer have to be likable. You guys have to be having a conversation with these listing agents. You have to connect with them. You have to use your charm, make them like you, make them want to pull for you and your buyer. And you have to do the same for your buyer. You have to let them know what a wonderful person they are, how easy they are to work with, how they won't nitpick on repairs. Whatever you can do that will make your buyer more appealing, it's your job to do so. So anyway, you guys get out there, you keep doing it. I'm sorry, the multiple offers is a numbers game like everything else, but you get enough out there, we'll get them the houses. All right, thank you guys. Get out there and be great.